Fingerprint recognition and its advanced features. Abstract fingerprint recognition is one of the most popular and successful methods used for person identification, which takes advantage of the fact that the fingerprint has some unique characteristics called minutiae, which are points where a curved track finishes, intersect with other track or branches off. Biometric identification systems using fingerprints patterns are called AFIS, Automatic Fingerprint Identification System. Fingerprint recognition is one of the research hotspots in biometric. It refers to the automated method of verifying a match between two human fingerprints. It is essentially a challenging pattern recognition problem where two competing error rates, the false accept rate, FAR, and the false reject rate, FRR, need to be minimized. Advancement of computing capabilities led to the development of automated fingerprint authentication systems, AFIS, and this led to extensive research especially in the last 2 decades. In this paper, we attempt to give a comprehensive scoping of the fingerprint recognition problem and address its major design and implementation issues as well as give an insight into its future prospects. Keywords: fingerprint, pre-processing, feature extraction, matching, databases. Introduction. Along with various biometrics techniques, in the past few decades human beings have been addicted to various technologies such as captured photos, scanned signatures, barcode systems, verification ID and so on. Also, biometrics is one of the applications in image processing which refers to technologies that used physiological or behavioral characteristics of human body for the user authentication. The biometric authentication system based on 2 modes, enrollment and recognition. In the enrollment mode, the biometric data is acquired from the sensor and stored in a database along with the person's identity for the recognition. In the recognition mode, the biometric data is reacquired from the sensor and compared to the stored data to determine the user identity. Biometric recognition based on uniqueness and permanence. The uniqueness means that there is no similarity of feature between 2 different biometrics data. For example, there are no 2 humans having the same fingerprint feature even if they are twins. And when the features of biometrics do not change over the lifetime or aging, it is called permanence. Biometrics can have physiological or behavioral characteristics. The physiological characteristics are included in the physical part of body such as fingerprint, palm print, iris, face, DNA, hand geometry, retina, etc. The behavioral characteristics are based on an action taken by a person such as voice recognition, keystroke scan, and signature scan. Any biometrics system including 2 phases. First phase is enrollment phase and second is recognition phase. The recognition phase divided to 2 things which is verification and identification. During the enrollment phase the biometrics data are captured and generate digital image, then pre-processing apply to digital image for removing unwanted data and apply the post-processing, then store this data in database. In the case of identification process, the fingerprint acquired from one person is compared with all the fingerprints which store in database. Also it is known as 1N, matching. It is used in the process of seeking the criminals. In the verification process the person's fingerprint is verified from the database by using matching algorithms. Also it is known as 1:1, matching. It is the comparison of a claimant fingerprint against enroll fingerprint. Initially the person enrolls his/her fingerprint into verification system, and the results show whether the fingerprint which take from the user is matching with the fingerprint store as a template in database or not match. The enrollment, identification, and verification process shown in the Fig.1. Process of enrollment, identification and verification. The fingertip surface is a combination of many of ridges and many of valleys. The fingertip surface is a combination of many of ridges and many of valleys. In case of the ridge which declare as black lines and the valleys declare as white lines are shown in Fig.2. The minutiae points are the points where the ridge structure changes such as bifurcation and end point. Nowadays security methods password is not accurate and outstanding to protect individual belongings, therefore for this purpose used biometrics recognition system. 2. Fingerprint. Fingerprints are graphical patterns of ridges and valleys on the surface of fingertips. The ridge ending and ridge bifurcation is called minutiae as shown in figure 3. There are many methods based on minutiae-based fingerprint representation were proposed in 1, 2. Every person has a unique fingerprint from any other person. The fingerprint identification is based on two basic assumptions: invariance and singularity. Invariance means the fingerprint characteristics do not change along the life. Singularity means the fingerprint is unique and no two persons have the same pattern of fingerprint. Table I shows the terms and definitions of fingerprint. Structure. N. Term. Definition. O. 1. Termination. The location where a ridge comes to an end. 2. Bifurcation. The location where a ridge divides into two separate ridges. 3. Binarization. A process to transform the image from 256 levels to 2 levels, 0, 1, refers to black and white, respectively. 4. Thinning. The process of reducing the width of each ridge to 1 pixel. 5. Termination. Considered as angle between the direction of the angle ridge and the horizontal. 6. Bifurcation, which considered as the angle between the angle direction of the valley ending between the bifurcations and the horizontal. 7. Matching score. It is the measure of similarity between the input and template data. 8. False non. The system failed to detect a match between input matching ratio and template in database. 3. Fingerprint Recognition System. Nowadays-old security methods password is not accurate and outstanding to protect individual belongings, therefore for this purpose used Biometrics Recognition System. Fingerprints is a consolidation of many ridges and many valleys on the surface of fingerprints. Ridges are declared as black lines shown in figure 1, and valley declare American Samoa white lines 27 to 30. Biometrics of human is splatted into two categories: 1. Behavior of biometrics, 2. Physiological biometrics. Every human has its own biometrics characteristics and can be identifying through these characteristics. Fingerprints biometrics system has 4 basic process or internships that are: collection, extraction, comparison, decision, or validation or identification. Fingerprints recognition system, FRS, requires a comparison or match of his/her fingerprints with the fingerprints in the database to indicate individuals in the storage. 30. Another major purpose of the system is to be used as a security device. 31. In 1899 Galton first time explored the feasibility of using fingerprints recognition system for identifying newborn children. It was also possible to use fingerprints to recognize children of 2.5-year age. Automated fingerprints identification system, AFIS, are widely used method for authentication, 1:1 match, or identification and duplication 1, and search of individuals 1, and now prevalent around the globe, providing an accurate. In modern society, fingerprints recognition system is the ability to reliably identify individuals. A much important application like computer security, financial transaction, international border crossing and forensics. A working and feature. Fingerprints recognition system is a widely used application and becomes popular and updated by the time because manually checking the identity of a person. In the market, many techniques are introduced for the recognition with the perspective of human behavior. Biometrics gives us high security, that is the reason persistently used for many years, and this technique is very simple and easy to use. Biometrics is considering a powerful approach because our ridge and valley surface of fingerprints cannot change and remain the same through a lifetime. Fingerprint recognition is being used for the identification at the several departments as the system security is considered as the most important factor at any department of information and technology. Initially the user gets register with the system, in which the user will provide the basic and personal information which will be required by the system, and also the user will provide the thumb impression to the hardware interface, which will store the fingerprint image as well the other information about the user into the database. After the procedure of the registration, the user will only put the finger at the hardware interface. The system will allow the user to get logged into the system. Figure 4. B. Steps for recognizing a image. A. It is highly accurate. B. It is unique and can never be same for two persons. C. It is the most economical technique. D. It is easy to use. E. Use of small storage space. Capture image/image acquisition. It's a very first step. In this stage, capture the fingerprint through digital sensors look very blur and noisy because the quality of image is not upright. 30. The image acquisition stage is the process to obtain images by different ways. There are two ways to capture fingerprint image, online and offline. In the online fingerprint identification, the optical fingerprint reader is used to capture the image of fingerprint. The size of fingerprint image will be 260*300 pixels. The offline fingerprint identification is obtained by ink in the area of finger and then put a sheet of white paper on the fingerprint and finally scans the paper to get a digital image. Pre-processing. In the second step, make the quality of image better by applying the worthful algorithm, which remove all the damage area appear on the fingerprint such as noisy, missing minutiae, blur etc. and convert it into a high-quality image. In high-quality image, ridge and valleys are properly recognized. 30. The pre-processing stage is the process of removing unwanted data in the fingerprint image such as noise, reflection, etc. The fingerprint image pre-processing is used to increase the clarity of ridge structure. Un and Cho 6 in this work the adaptive pre-processing method on fingerprint image and extracts 5 features from it. And they used clustering method for analyses image quality, and enhance it by their characteristics. This is what pre-processing is performed after distinguishing the fingerprint image quality related to its characteristics. Feature extraction. The feature extraction process of fingerprint image applied on the output of pre-processing stage. The process of feature extraction depends on set of algorithms. A fingerprint feature extraction program is to locate, measure and encode ridge endings and bifurcations in the fingerprint. There are various methods for extracting the features from the fingerprint image. The famous methods is Minutiae extraction algorithm, which is find the Minutiae points and map their relative placement on the fingerprint. There are two types of Minutiae points, ridge ending and ridge bifurcation. 7. In 8. They are used an advanced method for extract feature from fingerprint, which done by extract minutiae directly from original gray level images without use binarization and thinning, and they use Gabor filter methods to extract features from fingerprint. In this step, identify the different features of fingerprint. Feature extraction relies on 3 levels such as level 1, global level, identify the delta, whirl, and loop, level 2, local level, check the out-of-order ridges in most minutiae form. Level 2 worked on bifurcation, ridge ending, lake, and crossover. Level 3, very fine level, work on sweet and white pores detected. 30. Pattern recognition, PR. In 4th step, firstly divide PR into 2 categories. I. Decision theoretic. In this step, quantitative descriptor work with patterns such as texture, area, length. 2. Structural, relational descriptor described by qualitative descriptor that also focus on patterns. 30, figure 6. Most of the enterprises are using the services of fingerprint recognition for the login purpose because the assigning of privileges was a bit difficult in previous technologies. The fingerprint recognition services enables the multiple enterprises where the entrepreneurs can integrate the proper privileges of the system. According to the latest researches, the voting systems should be implemented using the algorithms of fingerprints, which are less costly as there are a lot of issues about the riggings in the general elections of several countries, so the integration e-voting systems should be most optimized, as well as the integrated system should also be based on the correct identification, which should be considered as the future work in the field of Internet of Things and system security. Figure 7. Matching stage. The matching stage is the process to compare the acquired feature with the template in the database. In other words, the process of matching stage is to calculate the degree of similarity between the input test image, for user when he wants to prove his/her identity, and a training image from database, the template which created at the time of enrollment. Matching can be done in three methods: hierarchical approach, classification approach, and coding approaches. The hierarchical approaches increases matching speed at the cost of accuracy. 14. Classification approaches assign a class to each biometric in a database. There are many classification methods including KNN classifier. 15. Input image, normalization, orientation image, region mask generation, frequency image estimation, filtering, Gabor filter. Figure 7. Finger Recognition System. 4 Advantages of Fingerprint Identification. V. Applications of Fingerprint Identification. A. To identify criminals in crime scenes. It was one of major reasons for development of this technology by FBI in USA. B. To identify members of an organization. It helps improve security such that only authenticated persons can enter the secured area and not any other members. C. In grocery stores to automatically recognize and bill a registered user's credit card or debit card. 6. Conclusion. This paper gives us an overview of Fingerprints Recognition System. Fingerprints is very accurate and reliable technique. Fingerprints Recognition System widely used in identification tool and biometrics applications. Biometrics give us high security, that is the reason persistently used for many years. We briefly describe the method, approaches, and algorithm, indexing algorithm used for efficient search of growing size of fingerprints of Fingerprints Recognition System. We also discuss the steps. Metropolitan Police started the use of biometrics for identification in 1901 in the UK. First stage is acquisition stage or capture, pre-processing, remove the noisy and unwanted data, feature extraction and matching stage for fingerprints recognition purpose with the help of some previous research in detail. In addition, we highlighted some security issue which occur in fingerprints approach like spoof attack. For this purpose we used fingerprint domain knowledge by extracting local patches centered and aligned using Minutiae approach. This approach is able to achieve the significant results. Some basics factors also affecting the fingerprints like age and gender. Finally, the above discussion and result indicate that Fingerprints Recognition System, FRS, is very good, accurate, efficient and easy to use technique. Some problem may occur but these problem can be overcome with the passage of time.